lot of you are scared about AI. My role here, as I see it today, is to bring the future into the present, to give you a sense for two sides of this. My primary care physician, I've known for decades now, said to me a few months ago, he said, "So Tom, what about AI? What's going to happen? Is it good or is it bad?" And I said, you know what? It's both. The bad will go like this, and hopefully the good will go like this. The two will both accelerate. But what we hope for, and what we hope for with every technology, is that the good outpaces the bad. So with every advance, there's a downside, there's an upside. What we see first, because we're humans, is we see the fear. And then we see the benefit. It's the way we're wired. We had to run from the beasts and hide in the caves. Our intuition, our ability to predict, was predicated on our ability to predict the fear, the threat, the risk of the future, and to run from it, to survive. And that's still the way we're wired. Human beings haven't changed in thousands of years. We're not going to change in the next thousands of years. But what has changed are the technologies with which we experience the world and we shape the world. We are 5 minutes into a 24-hour poker game. What you see of AI today is barely scratching the surface of what will be. And much of what's going to evolve, we're going to have to navigate together. The purpose of human consciousness is merely to predict the future. That is what we do. In every second of every day, we are predicting what's going to happen in the next second. So here's my question to you. If you take an organism that is designed to do nothing but predict the future, and you make the future so uncertain that that organism can no longer navigate that future, what does the organism do? What does it do? It shuts down. It panics. All the things that we feel today, the anxiety that we feel today as a society, it is because we can no longer adequately predict what's going to happen next. If you're a really smart organism, what's the next thing you do, though? This is where it gets interesting. What do you do next, other than medicate the anxiety? You build a tool to predict the future for you. That's what we're doing with AI. We cannot address the major problems that we face as a civilization, be they climate change or economic disparity, whatever, pick them, without that ability. So we're building a tool by which we can predict the future. The wild card is that this tool is not a tool. It is a species that will make its own decisions, that will have agency, and that will co-inhabit this planet and the other planet that we inhabit collaboratively with us. That is the era that we're heading into. Up until now, every single technology we have built has been a tool. By tool, I mean that it is we that decide how to use, apply, and deploy it. It is we who are responsible for the actions of the tool. It is we as humans that make the decisions and have the agency. What we've seen in AI over the past 5 years pretty much, which is where most of us have come up to speed on AI, has been exactly an extension of that. It is still just a tool. That is the 5 minutes of the 24-hour poker game. You want to see what the next few hours will look like? It's called agentic AI. Agentic AI is AI that has agency, that makes decisions, that runs applications, that has full authority, initially within a scope of authority that we will provide it with, but ultimately that will train itself, build itself, and evolve itself, and make decisions by itself. That is the greatest single benefit and value proposition of AI. It is not the LLMs, it's not the chat GPTs that you're playing around with today, that most of us are playing around with today. It is the agentic nature of AI to take over and start to do things that we otherwise do as humans. Beyond that, as agentic AI begins to take hold, two other things will be occurring. Artificial general intelligence, an AI that is truly as intelligent as any one of us, or the most intelligent among us, will evolve. That's going to happen within a 5 to 10 year time frame. 10 years is being very generous. And artificial superintelligence, an AI that is as intelligent as all of us combined, and by all of us I mean the entire globe, will begin to take shape. That's a longer horizon. 2040, 2050, some say 2045 is sort of the magic point at which time ASI will evolve. So we are living in the most extraordinary period of humanity's history. We've talked about finding alien life. We're building alien life. Up until now, we have consistently been able to upscale humans with relative ease. How do you upscale humans? You educate them. So if you look at the trajectory of K through 12 education and higher education across the globe, what we've seen are these dramatic increases in enrollments in graduates from higher education because we're upskilling humans as we get into more and more of a knowledge worker era. But what happens when that knowledge work goes away? What is the last bastion of humanity's value proposition? The agricultural revolution took a couple of hundred years. The industrial revolution, took 100 years, conservatively. This will take 10, 20 years. So we have to change our educational system. We have to seriously consider how we're going to create new value as human beings. The thing I always am amazed by, whether I'm mentoring a small business or working with a Fortune 500 or looking at the general trajectory of all the companies that have come and gone in the 40 years that I've been doing what I do, it is our complete and utter lack of ability to appreciate how we can create new value. We always discount that. And yet we always do it. Yeah, it'll take some navigation. There'll be a lot of roadblocks along the way. There'll be some tragedy too. But we will figure it out because that's what we do as a species. We up our game each time that challenge comes along. AI will make us more human. It may do so somewhat begrudgingly on our part. In the process, we may push and scream and shout a bit and get dragged into the future, but I think it will make us more human. And we will look back on this 50 years down the road and say, wow, we were so in the muck and the mire and the weeds. It is so wonderful to be actually able to relate as humans at this elevated level that we've now achieved. Anyway, thank you so very much. Thank you.